Hey, what's up, guys? It's Christian. I'm here with my good friend Pheng Vang, owner and operator of Sota Hot Cold. He's been in business for what, about 9 months now?
10 months now.
10 months. About to open up a second shop. He's down St. Paul on University Avenue, so make sure to check him out. Do you want to do a little bit of introduction about how you got here? Just starting, like your origin story, like a comic book origin story.
Okay, yeah. So, origin story. So this kind of goes way back to like, when I was in college, I had thought for a long time about, that I wanted to kind of pursue entrepreneurship. I just didn't know kind of like which route to go towards. Mm-hmm. I've always had a passion kind of in business, and I've always been kind of fascinated by how businesses become successful and just more on the finance side of things. So that's always intrigued me, and so I was like, pondering for a really long time what I wanted to do. And so I actually was always interested. I've always had a kind of passion for the kitchen. I've always kind of enjoyed cooking and, culinary arts and stuff like that. But I never really thought that I would have been in this industry. I actually wanted to go into more of kind of like athletics because of my athletics background. I wanted to pursue something kind of more of like a, sports related. But then it's just that industry is just a really hard industry to kind of like tap into, and me being kind of new to it and stuff like that. I didn't pursue that because of the time and the effort that would have gone into that. So I was like, all right, let's. So I was like, okay, so I like food and I like the culinary arts, so let's just kind of like mess around with that. And it didn't really get serious until about like a couple of years ago, actually. It had always just kind of been like something in the back of my mind I wanted to do. Originally I wanted to start a food truck, actually, and that was kind of like what, because, back about 5 years ago, that was kind of when the food truck kind of like started picking up popularity and stuff like that. So I was kind of thinking like, that's probably maybe something I would do, because low startup costs. It's kind of like easy to do. If it fails, then it's kind of like, you can always sell it, trying to recoup some of that money back, whatever it may be, right? But, that was just another thing. It was just kind of like on the back burner too, just like, thinking of something to do.
Just something in your mind. Yeah,
something in my mind, you know what I mean? And then Soda kind of finally showed up because... I saw Thai rolled ice cream on social media, just like everybody else, and I was like instantly kind of like I was really intrigued by kind of like the process and what it was because just thinking about the market and like all these trendy foods that are coming out, sushi's becoming a big thing right now, ramen's becoming a big thing right now, pho's becoming a big thing right now. But see, those trendy foods and stuff like that, it's like it's very niche and very specific because not everyone eats sushi, not everyone eats pho, not everyone eats ramen. It's very niche, you know what I mean? That's a very small population that eats those things. But with the ice cream, it intrigued me because like here's a new way, a new twist on like ice cream, your traditional ice cream that you have here in the United States. And everyone eats ice cream.
For sure.
I mean, it doesn't matter what, culture you come from. It doesn't matter how old, how young. Everyone is familiar with ice cream. And so it's kind of like, even though it's a new twist, it's still like kind of like a tradition, like something that's really like ingrained in American culture is ice cream, right?
It's hard to find someone that doesn't like ice cream, right?
Exactly. You know what I mean? And so... that's one of the intrigue. And so like I actually went to when I was in Thailand, we had it, and I was like, wow, this is great. And so I was like, I did a lot more research on it, on how it's manufactured, like how the process, the ingredients. Started messing around with it. I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna test this out, really try it out, see. And then I did a local event here at the Little Mekong Market, and I had an idea about like how popular it was going to be and how much interest there was going to be, but I think the popularity like was even more than I thought. At the Little Mekong Market. I mean, you were there, you did the marketing for it, so it was like, there were lines like, it was crazy, like crazy lines. It was like super busy, people waiting for hours and hours on it. So I was like, that's kind of like what really pushed me to be like, all right, I think I need to open up a brick and mortar.
That was like your moment.
Yeah, that was kind of like the aha moment. Like, I really got to do that. So like the Little Mekong event happened in May. And then I opened in August.
Yep.
So as you can see, it was like, boom, May. So,
Right away.
May, June, July, August. So it's like basically like 2.5 months where I just kind of just really just pushed it and just made it happen. I think that's the key to all this whole story. This is a real long story, but the key is, I spent 5 years thinking about it, and it took me 3 months just to do it. You know what I mean? Like if I would have just did it, then I think that we'd be having a different conversation today, right? But and I think that that's the key message about the whole origin is that like you just gotta do it.
So you found out about this idea 5 years ago, you said? Something around there?
Yeah, I mean, I thought of the idea of like owning a business 5 years ago,
But
right?
Tyrell ice cream.
But Tyrell ice cream was like more recently, like maybe within the last 2 years.
Gotcha.
But it's kind of like, and that's when Tyrell ice cream became kind of popular here in the States too. With like on the
right
East
time
and
in
West
the market.
Coast, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I think that if I would have just moved on it 2 years ago, I mean, the conversation would have been completely different 2 years ago, right? Compared to now. And so I think that that's the key message that like, when you have an idea, when you have something, like just don't sit on it, like really like follow through and just do it. You know? And I think that that's key is following through with that.
And I think that for you to go to the market to start out with was super smart, because then you could test it out if your idea if your idea was real, right? I think that's something where a lot of businesses get mixed up, is where they kind of just put out a product, hope that everything pops right away, and that's never the case usually. You want to test your market first, ask people, see if it's real, right? So I think that was super smart by you. And then you created something real here.
And I think that and then I totally agree with you with that too, because I think that what a lot of times is like people have this idea in their mind, but until they really actually until the consumer actually comes in and like tastes their product, then you don't really know.
Exactly.
You know, and so I think that with the resources right now, and like with kind of like how many events happen locally nowadays, it's really easy to like test the market.
For sure.
So there's so many places to do it.
And it helped you figure out what special you wanted to have, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because at the market you figured out, okay, this one's just going to do really well because everybody wants that.
Yeah.
And then you bring that into your shop.
I totally, for sure, man, for sure.
Testing's huge, I think. Yeah. So let's move on to, so you kind of give us your origin story. So in business, there's obviously a lot of ice cream shops. There's a lot of, different type of dessert places. There's even other type of rolled ice cream places. What separates yours from all of those? And what do you want to separate yourself from all of those? Like, what do you want people to see that separates you?
So, all right. So this is kind of like a double-edged sword, like when I have this conversation, because it's kind of like I want it to be unique and original, because, it is something that is very unique, and it's a very different take on your traditional ice cream. But at the same time, I don't want that message to get lost, and I don't want to get pigeonholed into kind of like, this category of dessert where it's like exotic or foreign or anything like that.
For sure.
Like, at its like, I just want it to be known as like a good ice cream shop. You know what I mean? I don't want to be kind of pigeonholed into something that's like super foreign or super exotic or anything like that. And so when I have these conversations, like I don't want to say that it's so original and it's so unique that it becomes foreign to people, and they disassociate my product from ice cream itself, because in essence it's just ice cream, really. It's just a different take on it, and it's a different version of ice cream. But at its core, it's definitely, I want to be thought of as an ice cream shop first and foremost. But I think what really sets us unique is one, obviously, it's Tyrell ice cream. And, if you guys haven't seen it, check out the videos on our social media and stuff like that. But it's probably the freshest form of ice cream that anyone can have right now. It's basically it's a frozen. It's basically a liquid form of ice cream that you make, from scratch. Well, I make it from scratch every day, and then basically it's made right in front of you, so there's no preservatives. The ice cream that you're eating, is ice cream that has been made that same exact day, if not within the last 24 hours. And then we use fresh ingredients. We use fresh fruits, and we try to use, and everything that we use, we're trying to be very conscious of, health and environment and stuff like that. So we use recyclable cups, and then we're trying to move towards using, recyclable spoons and stuff like that, recyclable napkins and all that kind of stuff too. And so, like, our emphasis is just really on like bringing an experience to the customer that's like unique and it's original and it's different from your traditional scoop shop ice cream where everything, the ice cream's already made in front of you and you just pick your flavors and stuff like that. But at the same time, like we want to stay true to like the flavors of the ice cream, such as now a campfire cooler, which is our special, which is kind of like our s'mores ice cream, which is like it has the familiarity of kind of your traditional ice cream flavors, but at the same time it's a different take on it, so the presentation's a little bit different. And so yeah, like that's our emphasis here at Sota is like we don't want to go super exotic with it. We don't want to go some crazy flavors. We don't want to do anything over the top. We want to stay true to kind of what ice cream is. But at the same time, we want to bring kind of like our own unique twist into it too.
Gotcha.
And so it's kind of like fusing kind of like traditional ice cream with these new trends that are happening as well.
New take on it.
Yeah, new take on it too.
Yeah.
So it's like combining the old and the new, which is very important, especially in this area of Rocktown.
For sure,
with all the culture and stuff
I think.
like that.
Me and you had conversations about this a lot. It's just like
Yeah.
people my age, around like the millennial and younger age.
Yeah.
People that's kind of in your market, your target audience, just like new stuff.
Yeah.
They like Thai rolled ice cream just because it's a new type of ice cream, even though it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so that just brings people in, and it's just something that a lot of businesses have to think about is how do I balance the old with the new?
Yeah.
How do I
definitely.
keep reinventing? How do I keep getting better?
Yeah. Agreed. Like like in culinary arts, and I think that's one thing that continues to fascinate me is kind of the evolution of food, right? And like
For sure.
how to stay current with everything that's going on, because what's cool today is gonna be not so cool tomorrow, right? Because it's just happening so fast, and so you got to continuously kind of look for new ways to present this and continue to evolve.
100%.
Yeah.
How do you kind of stay on top of trends or new things that are popping, such as like in the food industry, and how do you plan to like implement that into like your food and stuff? Yeah,
so I'm pretty active. I'm kind of like doing research all the time. I'm a food buff, so I do like to eat out too, and so like I'm constantly kind of reading articles, looking at trends on what's happening all around the world, not just like in the United States, but around the world, and just getting inspiration from like other people too. Like, obviously YouTube's a great resource.
Sure.
YouTube's huge. Social media, the way that social media is being utilized today nowadays too. I mean, you can speak to this as well. Just how big social media is too, and just like how easy it is to kind of link up with like various like culinary experts and stuff like that.
How important do you think social media is to like just your business in today's
huge, man. It's huge. Social media is so big now. Social media, it provides you a platform. Because back in the day, you had to have like various platforms to collect the various data that you needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then the social media allows you to kind of like consolidate all of that data and do the analysis from one platform versus having to do it from multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and it allows you to kind of really target the demographics that are engaging the most or anything like that. So like social media is just such a powerful tool because it allows you to kind of like decipher good information from bad information and really focus on the good and kind of so that you're not wasting resources on ineffective like marketing and social campaigns, marketing campaigns on social media, right? Because then you can really like focus in on what's really actually working versus like trying to divert so much attention to like things that may not even work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the key to social media marketing is because traditional marketing is, you just send mass mailings out.
And hope people come by.
Yeah. Or, and you don't have the, you do have the ability to like select target market, but it's kind of like, there's so much work that gets involved, manual work that gets involved with that, and then radio marketing where like it's just kind of like a blast, right?
Yeah.
Or TV marketing is it's just a blast.
Very random.
And it's not as engaging. Versus social media marketing, you could really tailor your marketing efforts to be really more engaging to the audience that you're working with, and I think that's key this day and age, especially with how big social media is becoming too, and how influencing. Social media is becoming for sure.
For sure. Great.
Yeah.
So what are some challenges that you kind of face when going through building Sota Hot and Cold?
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest ones that come to mind?
I think the biggest challenge with Sota Hot and Cold is really just kind of continuing to just keep people interested, because like any other trend, like any trend out there, trends tend to die off, right? And I think that's the key to this is like to not make it a trend, and that's why again I want to be able to send a message or tell a story that this is not just Tyrell ice cream, this is actual just ice cream, right? I want to be just a neighborhood, ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Even though it's not your traditional ice cream with the scoop and cone and all that kind of stuff, I just want to be sure to let you guys know that, I'm a neighborhood community ice cream shop, and I'm here, and because I, ingrained in the community, I love this community. And so that's the biggest challenge is really just making people understand that, like, this is ice cream shop. This isn't Tyrell ice cream. This isn't some trendy thing that's going to come here and go away. That's one of the biggest challenges. I think the other challenge, for sure, is just continuing to be innovative of the flavors that you release and the flavor combinations, and just kind of being aware of kind of what the consumers want and the customers want, and not trying to how should I put this? Not trying too hard to look like. Not trying too hard to be original, right? And so I think that like that's one of the difficulties in the restaurant is like you have to find an identity. You have to have an identity of what you are as a restaurant. And once you
just in business in general, right?
Yeah, this is just business in general. You have to have an identity. You know what I mean? Because like it's kind of like people can go get ice cream anywhere.
Yeah.
Right, they can go down the street. They can go to Dairy Queen. They can go to Connie's Creamery. They can go anywhere they want, really. But it's like once you establish kind of an identity, then I think that people can like really relate to that more and buy into that.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of businesses that struggle in general is like when you're missing that identity, and then people kind of create an identity for you.
For sure.
And that could be like different from, because everyone's unique, so everyone's interpretation of your identity could be different.
Yeah.
But if you are able to establish that identity for them, then I think that then you've kind of accomplished what you want to accomplish, for sure.
How much of that identity do you kind of, I mean, obviously you have your idea of what you want it to look like, but also how much of it is driven by just customers and kind of what they want to see as well? Should it be like a balance?
Yeah, it definitely has to be a balance for sure, because the customer experience is like the number one thing.
Yeah.
And for any business, not just restaurant business, but I think that like that's what kind of separates it, because you really do have to tailor kind of your products and services to the customers that you're seeing on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And so, I think that you definitely have to be engaging with the customers that are giving you and providing you feedback. And so that's why I really like to emphasize the importance of people leaving reviews, letting us know how we're doing, good or bad. You know what I mean? I mean, if anything, I actually like the bad comments more, because then that provides us feedback, and it provides us an opportunity to grow and get better, tailor our products and services so that we're, so that next time that they come in, then that's meets everything that they need, right? And so. Obviously, we can't satisfy 100% of the customers, you know what I mean? But that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to get to close to as 100% as possible. So it's very important that you have to have a balance. I mean, you establish that identity up front. But I mean, the customers obviously drive that too. But there has to be a balance, definitely.
For sure.
Yep.
Great. So, I mean, customers are super important. What does success look like to you with Sota Hot and Cold, and also with just like you in general?
Yeah, so success for me is kind of
like what would be successful for like Sota? I mean, maybe you see Sota Hot and Cold as successful already, but maybe what's like your long-term goal for that?
Yeah, so to me, I think that Sota is a success. Like the fact that like we've opened our doors is a success to me. To be honest with you, sure. I mean, first and foremost, I think that's the most important thing for me.
Sure.
And so success to me really just kind of is more internal for me. Is just knowing that I can say that I own my own business and that I've accomplished like a goal of mine, right? So that's kind of been like a lifelong thing of mine, and just being able to say that, hey, I own my own business. I've opened the doors. I've been in operation for 9 or 10 months now. If we were to shut our doors down tomorrow, I think that I'd still feel like it was a success no matter what.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
because I think a huge thing, and I emphasize this a lot when I talk to a lot of people too, is that because since I've opened this business, I've had so many more people approach me about starting a business because they're looking at Sota in their eyes of success, right?
Yeah,
And they like, oh man,
sure.
it seems like Sota's so successful and stuff like that because you guys are always busy or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And I always tell them it's like, you know, and that obviously correlates to like monetary success,
Mhm.
right? You know, they're like, you know, I see that I want to get into business because I see that you're making, you know, they
Yeah,
think
money.
that you're making a lot of
Yeah,
money,
yeah.
but in reality, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that's why you have to like provide them a reality check and say like, you know, I'm not making a lot of money, and you don't do this for the money.
Of course not.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you know,
There's a balance,
it's
right?
a balance, yeah. Of course,
always a balance.
I mean, I'd be lying to you, and I'd be lying to everybody if I said that, you know, it's not a money thing, because it is. I mean, money has a lot. Money has a role in this.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's not my driving factor. You know, for
It's just part of
pursuing
it.
what I want to pursue. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And so I always tell them that, like, you know, when you're pursuing anything in life, whether that be business or whether that be a career or a girl or anything like that, you know, or a guy, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, I think that like you need to like I always tell them that, like, don't do it because you're chasing like money. You know what I mean? Like, you know, be sure that you're chasing success, because like you always have, because like that's why they have that saying, right? Like when you make a money, like when you say I want to make $1 million.
Yeah.
Right. Then it's kind of like that's why they have that saying, you know, more money, more problems, right? And so
Yeah.
like there's always a negative connotation, or there's always a negative attachment to money, right?
Yeah.
You know, they say money can't buy happiness, money can't buy love. There's like
Yeah.
so many things about money, right? But like no one's ever had, and there's no negative connotation to success.
Yeah.
And so you want to be sure that you're chasing success and not the money,
Yeah.
because like I said to some colleagues of mine, if I make $50,000 a year at Sota, owning my own business, I think that that's successful for me. Instead of making $50,000 and sitting in a cubicle all
Yeah,
day.
for sure.
Right? So like that, to me personally, that's what success looks like. Like if I'm making $50,000 a year from Sota, which to a lot of people don't, you know, they might be like, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that that's success because I think that that's better than working at a cubicle
For
9
sure.
to 5 every day, right? And so, you know, it's really about perspective, and it's really about just understanding your perspective and believing your perspective, and not letting other people kind of
Dictate that
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because your version of success is going to be different
Very
from mine.
different, yeah.
And so you just have to really, one, be realistic, and then like two, just don't let other people kind of like dictate that perspective for you.
I think I love everything you said about just success being different for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody having different goals as far as like, you know, I mean, money should definitely be part of, I mean, money, that's business, right?
Yeah.
It's just part of the puzzle.
And it's just the world we live in today.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, but what makes, you know, $1 million a better goal than like $2 million, you know? It's just an arbitrary number.
Exactly. And it's arbitrary, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you say I want to make $1 million, someone might be like, wow, that's so successful.
Yeah.
But then there's people out in the world that's like, $1 million, that's nothing.
Yeah,
You know, talk to me when you have $10 million, right?
exactly.
So it's like, it's just like, you know, you're never going to be satisfied. But if you internally, you're satisfied with whatever monetary you make, and that's considered success, no one can take that away from you.
And I think just when people, not from experience, but just from seeing other people, like when they get there, they just want more.
They just want more, yeah.
More and more. It's just pile on. Yeah, so it's just like, you know, what's the real goal here, you know? So I think money is just part of the puzzle. I think success is very different for everybody. So I think we kind of talked about, you know, just kind of your business, your origin story, and kind of the challenges that you've been through. What's kind of like your mindset every day when you come into like Sota? And are you just like pumped every day, or, you know, like are you just trying to like, kill it every day? Like I just want like $1,000 in sales today, or what?
Yeah, so like that's the thing about me too. Is kind of like, to be honest, when I started Sota, I kind of like picked a number about like kind of like that I'm comfortable with losing, and I tell a lot of people this too, is like just pick a number, you know, that you're comfortable with. And so like when I started Sota, I said, you know, this is my number that I'm going to invest into Sota.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable with that number, and that's the number I'm going to stick with. And so if I lost all of that today, I wouldn't be stressed out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so every day I come into the soda kind of like not worried about that. So like if there's ever a slow day or if we have a slow month or something like that, I'm not worried, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know that things will get better or that if things don't work out, then I'm okay, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to bring that, I don't want to have that added stress to me either.
Yeah.
But of course I'm pumped and I'm super excited every day, you know, to try to like better the soda brand and help my employees become better employees and also give the customer a better experience, you know what I mean? So like there's always continuous improvement and obviously continuous evolvement. So like literally like my mind is just like constantly just running about like, you know, what can I do to make the product better? What can I do to, you know, what new flavors are out there? What different flavor combinations? I mean, just looking this, I mean, like whenever I go out to eat and I see like the food that they make, I just think about kind of like the different flavor combinations that can even happen from that, from like something as arbitrary as like mashed potatoes or something as arbitrary as like steak or something like that. You know, even though it has no association to ice cream, it's just kind of like the flavor combinations when you're eating it and stuff like that. It's like, you know, it kind of like triggers kind of like your different like taste buds and stuff like that. So like every aspect of life, man, seriously, it's just like, you know what, like it's always just like inspiring, you know, and like giving you like motivation. And you know, artists and people always talk about like, you know, they find inspiration from everything in life, you know, and I think that that's the same thing as like literally like everything that I interact with literally is like kind of can act as inspiration to kind of fuel where I want to go with soda. And so yeah, man, like every time I come into soda and I see, you know, the workers working or, you know, when I see that things are going good, you know, I'm definitely pumped. But at the same time, like if things aren't going well and it's slow, I'm still pumped, you know what I mean? Because there's always time and room for improvement, for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you think, like through this whole like 9 months you've been in business, what do you think you've learned that has really stuck out to you? I mean, you've learned a bunch, I'm sure, just through this whole process. But like, what is the big thing that you've learned that you didn't think about in the past?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned really is just kind of like one, the dynamics of people.
Yeah.
I think that's the key thing, because one, it's like the customer dynamic, and then also like, you know, managing employees as well, that dynamic as well.
Yeah.
And so just being able to kind of learn and observe the kind of like behaviors that happen and the way the interactions that happen. It just really like it really like changes like kind of like your perspective on like human interaction and stuff like that, and kind of like, you know, what works, what doesn't work, and it really like develops like your ability to communicate and like just really and it really helps you as a leader too, because then like your people skills and the way that you read people just like completely like changes and stuff like that, because not only are you dealing with customers, but you're also dealing with your employees and you're the boss, right? And like it's really weird when you're actually the boss versus like when you're a supervisor or anything like that. When it's your business and everyone's looking up to you for answers, then it kind of like changes your perspective on things. And then also like when you hear customer complaints or when you hear about stuff like that, or just, you know, any other issues that happen with the whole like operation, it just really teaches you like humility. It teaches you to be humble, and it teaches you to kind of like appreciate kind of like, you know, the hard work that like small businesses have to go through to just, you know, be successful or just to make ends meet, you know what I mean? And so it really is a humbling experience, and it really, you know, it really adds to the humility of everything, because like you're kind of just like, man, like, you know, small businesses work hella hard, you know? And so it really makes you appreciate kind of the work that they're doing on a day-to-day basis, for sure.
I think that's huge. I think that's something that a lot of people don't really realize, is they don't have that perspective of running a small business and how hard that is. And then you have to think about your customers and like how they view you and what they want, you know. So it's just like, you know, once you're the boss, you know, you're the last in line, and you got to figure out, you know, how do I balance all of that.
Yeah, definitely agree, man. Definitely agree. It's crazy dynamics that happen like on a daily basis. So it's definitely a challenge, but again, that's one of the things that continues to keep you motivated too, and interested. Definitely.
So kind of a different type of question. So what are you kind of like obsessed with right now? Like for me, I'm like a really big music dude, so like, you know, Pusha T and Drake. I don't know if you heard about that. That beef's going on. So I'm waiting for Drake to come back like the Migos, like they got the tour going on, and they're and there's
Yeah.
other artists just popping up. So I'm just obsessed with like music, right?
Music.
So what about you? Like, well, I'm obsessed with like J.R. Smith missing that or not messing up, So like, what about you? Like, what are you obsessed with right now?
Oh man, so I'm obsessed with kind of like my wife's sitting over there. No, I'm just kidding. But, no, I'm obsessed with really just kind of like sports. I'm a big sports buff.
For sure.
The World Cup's right around the corner, so I'm like
it's
real obsessed with that. I'm really kind of looking at that, and so I've just been real kind of paying real close attention to like everybody's squad and seeing how everyone's gonna perform and all the
So who you
storylines
got?
that happen. Oh man, I think. To be honest, I think Brazil's got a good chance.
They do, yeah.
I think Spain's got a real good chance, and then I think I can't bet on against my boy Messi and Argentina because if he's playing, he's always got a chance, And then
for sure.
I do like France too, but they're a little young. But I don't know, man. I think this is one of those World Cups where it's actually one of the ones that are most open, because I don't think there's one team that's really like out there that's just like above everybody else. Like previous years you had like the Germanys, the Spains, these other and Brazils that were like just like kind of like a class above everybody else, you know what I mean? Or like these 2 or 3 teams that are just like a class above everybody else. But this year, man, like literally like anybody could beat anybody. I mean, just yesterday, Austria beat Germany, you know what I mean? And in a friendly, right? So it's kind of like you never know.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff,
that's kind of what I'm obsessed about right now. And then at the same time, too, I'm kind of just obsessed about opening up Uptown, man. Like business and just expansion and just like focusing really big on soda and just business in general and just kind of I've been obsessed with just watching like literally like these food shows on Netflix, man.
Yeah.
Like huge,
which one you watching?
I highly recommend like if you guys really want to watch a really good and interesting like food show right now, it's Ugly Delicious.
With the Asian David.
Yeah,
right?
it's with David Chang, I believe, is a chef.
Yeah.
And he's going around and talking about like underappreciated cuisines, and like why aren't they like mainstream and stuff like that.
Or the story behind the stuff.
Yeah, and the story behind the stuff, and which is like amazing and it's cool. So like I'm like real obsessed with that show, and then.
I think I watched a little bit about I don't know if you got this far, the fried chicken. Did you watch that one?
Yeah, I saw the fried chicken.
I never thought about that stuff,
Yeah.
But he brought it up, and I was like, wow, that's a whole different perspective on fried chicken.
Yeah, fried chicken, and then like barbecue too.
Yep.
He has the one about that. I mean, it's just like crazy when you think about it, and how regionality and like patriotism is kind of like dictates like. Like part of like how people label things, right? Like how they think that like barbecue is an American thing, but people have been cooking barbecue all around the country, all around the world for years, right? And so so like I'm obsessed with like those like Netflix food shows like right now too.
For sure,
yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's what you're obsessed with. What about like what are you focused on? I mean, I'm pretty sure like Soda Uptown, right?
Yeah, Soda Uptown. I'm really focused on that too. But then at the same time, I'm really focused on because I do work a 9 to 5. And I do work a day job too, and so I'm really focused on trying to establish a lot of financial structure and procedures for the organization that I'm working with. So, and then at the same time, like you said, focusing on soda. Expanding the brand, expanding the product, but really just focusing on Uptown opening.
Cool.
ASAP.
Last thing here, so something a little bit fun. I'm trying something new here, so you get to ask the question of the day for everybody that's watching. So hopefully we'll get some comments and feedback, but just questions. This will give you like a chance to like get some market research or. It's just a question that you've always been pondering, or maybe you can even ask about the World Cup or something like that. It's up to you.
Yeah. So, question of the day. Oh man, this is a tough one, man. I have to think about something like this. So, I would say, it could be anything.
Anything you want, man.
Anything I want.
Anything you've been needing answers for.
All right. I'm trying to think of one that would probably be the most engaging and the most common and the most relevant, I guess. All right. This is going to spark some massive debate, and I already know some people that are going to be hopping on this one already, and it's real relevant to kind of what's happening right now. All right, so if Cleveland were to happen to win the finals, do you guys think LeBron stays or do you think he's leaving?
Oh, snap. Okay.
If Cleveland wins the finals.
We'll see. We'll see what everybody says. All right,
yeah,
thanks,
we'll
man.
see.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
man. Yeah, thank you very much,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate it a lot.